I can't believe I only have one chapter left. One chapter left of Project Death. Hello, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another forgotten vlog where I revisit some old footage that I never managed to edit and post. And this time it is my vlog of finishing draft 4 of Project Death and sending it over to my good friend Jessica Williamson, who was going to beta read for me. We swapped projects. I got to read The Anku's Curse and she got to read Project Death, and we were going to critique and give notes, and it is a wonderful place to be where you feel like you finally get a story up to the point that someone besides you can read it. Now I do want to backtrack just a smidge here and explain that the reason I never posted this vlog was because I took a break completely from YouTube in January. So I wasn't supposed to be filming, I definitely wasn't editing, I wasn't doing anything that could be construed as YouTube-esque work. But of course, I have vlogged Project Death from the very beginning, from the very first nugget of an idea as the story popped into my brain. And so as I thought more about it toward the end of January, I was like, I need to document at least part of this. So then of course I was still on the not editing train, and it just continued. The months passed. Other videos, other stories happened, and I just never got back around to showing this one, but it is absolutely the perfect time to be revisiting this because I'm about to jump into the next draft of Project Death, which I am so very excited about. So real quick, before I throw you into January, I want to give you a quick timeline. I started the reread of draft 4 back in September, October of 2021 so that I could completely rewrite it in November for NaNoWriMo. And the reason it's a complete rewrite was because I needed to basically extract a character. He was a minor character that somehow became a main character at the end, and then he was guiding the story too much, and it was just like not doing what I needed it to do, frankly. I realized that was the problem as I was doing draft 3. The story has evolved a lot, and so that was my main intention with draft 4. So I started drafting November, continued drafting into December, and then somewhere in that time is when Jess and I made our little writer's agreement, our little writer's pact to exchange drafts, which was really nice because that put a hard deadline of January 31st to be the day that we switched projects. I actually think once upon a time it was January 1st, but then we scooted that one back. So January 31st was the day that we were going to exchange drafts. We were going to be completely done and just give it over to another writer. Just let someone else deal with the problems. So what y'all are gonna see is late January as I'm continuing the draft and then including a reread and my own thoughts, which I might jump back in, me, Kate and May, might jump back in to further explain my thoughts and what I want to change for the next draft. And also because I have taken this much time to get around to the editing of this vlog, I can now include Jess's feedback as well, which will be really cool. And then maybe a little bit of a snippet on where we're going to go from here for this project, which I'm really excited about. So without further ado, let me take you back to January. 70K. Thank you for your contribution, Vin. Buffy, sit. Wait. Okay, girls. Good. Good job. Okay, so this is my writing calendar, and you can see that January's up top for the rest of this is the rest of the month. So today's actually Saturday the 22nd. I just didn't put it on here. And my goal had always been to get about 80 to 85K in Project Death. And I just hit 70K in this project, which is so awesome. And I know for certain that 70K is the longest story I've ever written before. But my goal for today is to get 3K, and then I put an additional 2K for 5 days just to be on the safe side, and then reread and notes for 3 days straight, where hopefully I can fix stuff if I need it, or like add an extra note to Jess. Like for instance, I don't know why it took me all this time to realize that first off, the armorer is like a difficult word to say, and if in theory I would one day want this to be published and read as widely as possible, then I would love for there to be an audiobook, and frankly the armorer is just probably not gonna work. I think I was inspired because I had a friend who, I don't know if she's talked about this on her channel, but she's changing the title of one of her books because she kept like fumbling over it when she'd say it for vlogs. So I think that was in my brain, and then I just realized armor was not gonna work. And then on top of that, I don't know why I didn't have this epiphany till now, but in Project Death, death rules all, right? And basically the rules are that if you kill someone, death also takes your life. That's basically what you've traded in doing so. So there's like a lot of wiggle room in there. The house tricks people into death, but also in theory someone could pay someone's family and that person could kill someone else, and like that's the trade that they've made with someone higher up, or like all this other stuff, right? Okay, so there are deaths, but certainly not as many deaths, and not like a warlike scenario. So why would there be a lot of armor? There wouldn't be. There really wouldn't be. So and the plot of the story, the important part of the story, is not relevant. Like armor doesn't matter. I'm going to probably sub it in for like some form of blacksmith. There is a point where Tovi, the main character, needs to be an apprentice to the current armorer, not just in the house, but also in the armory and stuff like that. I think it'll be a really easy change, but of course, I didn't realize this until I was 65,000 words in. How? Anyways, it's notes like that that I want to give to Jess in advance and be like, hey, clearly I'm still working out some kinks of the world building here. But like ultimately, I think the story is relatively set, quote unquote. So what do you think? So anyways, wild. Of course, after that, I'm going to be focusing on a romance project, which I'm very excited about, but I will talk about that more later. For now, we're gonna try and get 3K. So I need about 1,400 more. So I need about 2,400 more words. I got this. Okay, so I actually went back up to this scene and added a little chunk here. So now I can start with the second scene in chapter 26 with my tea and watching a replay of this match. morning. Oh, that's upside down. Today is Friday, January 28th, and according to my calendar, I should be rereading Project Death right now. But actually, I'm currently at 76,100 words, and my goal has been 80,000. That's what I've been saying. Sometimes 80 to 85,000, but regardless, I really only have one chapter and one little bit that I skipped left to write, so I think 80,000 is gonna be right on the money, and my hope is to finish today. Yeah. Because let me show you my schedule. Keeping in mind that Project Death is due to Jess on the 31st. So the sooner I finish it, the more time I have to reread and make any additional notes that I need for her. And I do need some. I'm dropping off the boyfriend and his coworker at the airport. Then I have a Twitch stream. Then I have YouTube Live was moved over here. Sarah's live on Saturday, a Patreon live on Sunday, and then one more Patreon live stream on Monday. I've started keeping my document over here and the Twitch stream over here so that I don't have to mess up my neck as much during the stream, constantly looking this way. So these are the things I have learned work better for me. We got a 90-minute sprint on the roll, so I should probably go back to the scene I skipped. And then do the thing, huh? I should do the thing. I'll do the thing. Okay, I'll do it now. Alright, I'm at 374 words of the scene that I had skipped. I have a bit more, but I'm about to get to some deaths. I'll probably wait till about the 50-minute mark to get my coffee for the day. All right, 8:08, and from Natalie. It's the final countdown. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Alright, 1,063 words added so far, and I told them I was going to take a bit of a brain break and get my book, so be right back. Oh, I have found that on streams it's been really nice to switch between... Zelda, you're not being left behind. It's been really nice to switch between writing and reading, so if I get like a decent amount of words, over 1,000 or so for the stream, I'm like, okay. It is book time, and I'm currently reading the ABC Murders. I both like reading and listening to it, so, I feel so good having finished that scene, and now I only have the last chapter left, and really everything's finally tying together, and we have like a semi-happy conclusion. For all the death that's happened, it's the happiest it could be. I can't believe I only have one chapter left. One chapter left of Project Death. And this is one of those ones where it's like, I mean, it's the conclusion, it's the last chapter. And so there's just so much like love I have for these characters, as you know, I send them off on, you know, the last bit of their journey, and so it's just, it's so cool. We'll see how it goes, but I'm excited. I think I'm gonna finish today, and then I will get to reread Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then it's off to Jess, and then, I don't know if you guys can tell, I will be starting a romance novel. So there's Inkling of Desire, Deepening Doubt. I put on there the different romancing the beats, the beats. But actually, I have the intro on the first day, but that's Tet, so I probably won't be working that day. So anyways, oh, I'm just so excited though. We're so close. Okay, time to get the last bit of this done and listen to my book. So I got the quote-unquote easy part done. Now I just have to fill in the sky. I got my new puzzles. Excuse me, dog. What are you doing? You too, kitten? So Puzzle Warehouse, the place I get my puzzles from, was having a sale. Wow, this is a new way for them to box it. Got one of the last Disney ones I didn't have yet. I freaking loved Mulan. One of my favorite Disney movies. This one is a mystery jigsaw puzzle, which I didn't know existed. So I'm very excited. You figure out the mysteries, you put together the puzzle. I got this pretty one with all the plants and a rainbow. A circular spooky one I am very excited about. And I just really loved the artwork and more circle puzzles. So heavy. Okay, 78,092 words, just past 78,000. We're in the middle of a YouTube sprint now, so. Spotted. Beep, 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 beep. That is time on our second sprint. Let me know how you guys did. I am now at 78,334 words. I did it at 78,948 words, at least as of now. We'll see how many I add when I reread, but the end. Yay. All right, that's it. We all ran over to Jess's stream, which I'm gonna go put on the TV because she put me on the TV. I can't believe it's done. This is the first time I ever wrote the end legitimately on Project Death, and I'm so excited. I am holding off a little bit until the 3 days so that I can start my reread tomorrow and go through and add all my notes in, and then I'll give it to Jess on Monday and it will be amazing. And I'm so excited. Okay, so I actually got the days wrong. The live on Sarah's channel is tomorrow. So I have all of Saturday free to mostly chill, but also start setting up my document for Jess. But on Jessica's live stream last night, a couple people asked me what I do with the puzzles once I complete them. So this one was really pretty fun to put together. Pretty chill, not too tough. I did glue this one and then came back and framed it. So you can see all of the cats. And it's just kind of fun. It looks like art. I want to do that with this whole wall, I think, with the National Parks ones I got. Oh, hello my kitten. And I currently have this one up, just held, and the one that my partner's aunts got me, I put up there. So I do hang them, and I have one that's been framed. I did glue this one together, and I think what I want to do eventually, because a lot of the puzzles are the same size, I could alternate out frames for them and just move them around, because I have more, oh, you can't see because I'm not tall enough. all the way up there. But I think for the one I just completed, I am going to scrap it and start another one. So, I appreciate you. You were fun. And now, to go with some of the other puzzles I've completed and might do again in the future, or might gift out, I don't know. But, still asleep. I think this color scheme is Glacier, so I think I'm gonna start with that one. Look who accidentally got her little leg wet. Rafa did it. And I did this. Ooh. Alright, so I made some big notes for Jess that I already know need to change before the reread. Then I'm going to do the reread, which I've started now. And compared to the, not the last chapter necessarily, because I think the last chapter was better, but like other chapters toward the end there were not like the kind of quality. I always notice myself kind of slipping into a very passive voice when I'm just trying to like get it out, and it's just not good, right? So I know that there's definitely some scenes that are much more passive than I want them to be. So hopefully I'll be able to fix that before the time. But let's get to the reading. Okay, so I got 3 books recommended to me that I put on hold at the library, and then 3 books that I was just there and picked up. This of course is not including the books I already have from the library, but The Purpose of Power, Word Slut, The 2000s Made Me Gay, and Agatha Christie. I think these are gonna be short stories. Floriography, and The Once and Future Witches. And I definitely got too much food, but I'm telling myself that it is to celebrate typing the end. The girls are very excited about the food that is not theirs. Okay, so it is 8 a.m. at More Coffee O'Clock on Monday, January 31st, and today's the day that I must yeet my project over to Jessica. And while yesterday I didn't get as much read as I wanted to, due to other circumstances, I am gonna get a lot done today. So I have to get all of it done today, but I'm really excited, especially because I do think, as I was telling my patrons, that this beginning is solid. There's definitely parts that I need to tighten up, I can already tell. And really what I want to do is take some of the world building that I did later in the book and give at least hints or like allusions to it earlier so that it doesn't seem as a surprise kind of thing. Like I just need to weave some of the world building in better so that, you know, these kind of important ideas or plot points later make sense the whole way through. But it is solid. It is good. It has enough of the like interesting world building, like this god of death, and you can trade names, and you can like, the main character can kill but no one else can. Like it has a lot of intrigue to start with, and we're going to get to death semi soon, so the beginning is solid. Again, solid. So feel good about that. Okay, I should get to the work. So I'm at the scene for the death. The first death on scene finally happens, or the first one that Tuovi commits. Yes. This is the dumb thing that you realize as you're rewriting, but so she has a scarf fall on my top. I put my hands on my sides working to keep it hidden, like, and then I talk about the scarf at the end, pushing the scarf back under my sleeve. So anyways, I feel like these are kind of incongruous and I need to just really quickly change it. It's a little thing compared to some of these notes, which actually a lot of these notes are that I just like it, or is it too much? But it's a little thing I can change right now. Anyways, so little changes are being fixed at this reread stage, but mostly it's just notes to my future self. Things I like, things I have questions for Jess on, that sort of thing. I do have a little bit of a highlighting system. This is for the actual time, where I'm not totally sure the time on the trek matches what I said throughout. I don't know when I decided it would be a month. So I highlighted that earlier versus like, okay, have they spent this many days out here that would work between this? So the timeline's not as funky as the mess that was Project Purple. But basically I just need to go through in these little parts where I have the timeline highlighted and make sure they all match up. So yeah. What I have found that's really fun is that I actually like how I end a lot of the scenes, or a lot of the chapters even. Let's see if I can find nice end to the scene too. Chapter ends well. Also like the way this chapter ends, which just makes it all the more noticeable when I don't have those moments. I love when books like beg me to keep reading at this, you know, that you just want to keep going. What I would ideally love to do is have that be my reaction to all of the scenes and all of the chapters where like, okay, holy shit, that would be nice. But currently it's not all of them, but it is more than I thought it was going to be. So, you know, I will take that as a win. So one of the deals that I've made with myself is that I will do yoga after each stream. I had been doing pretty well and then got a little bit off track, but this was inspired by when I effed up my neck. So anyways, now just trying to make sure that I am the healthiest little writer I can be once again. Hopefully this time is the one I stick with it though, you know? And that is it. That is the end of the reread, rewrite, vlog process. A couple things I want to point out before I get into Jess's notes, and also my notes upon the reread, is that I said this is the first time I've ever really written the end on Project Death. So we can talk about how you number drafts. When I've done this story before, I had a 0 draft and then a second draft. 0 drafts I almost never finish. I just kind of have chunks and a whole lot of brackets, so it never really feels done. So I never really feel like writing the end. It's more like I got, okay, 45, 50,000 words, and I'm like, okay, that's a good 0 draft. I need some time to ruminate on this before I do a rewrite. So then the second draft, or first draft, depending on how I'm feeling, I got part of the way through and didn't finish, though there were some clear improvements from the 0 draft. The same thing is true from this third draft. Then I started the whole process, you know, before last Nano rereading. That was one that I came very close to finishing. I guess I could look that up. Oh, it might be on my old computer. I think I got around 65,000 words, and that was when I realized that the character of the prince was just too big and I'd messed up somewhere along the way. And so, you know, even though I got, you know, a good amount, like the first third of the book really hasn't changed since this first draft or second draft or however I called it, but the back 2/3 has changed a lot. So when I say this was the first time I like wrote the end, it's the first time that I had almost 80,000 words and was like, okay, this is a complete thing. It is still a bit of a mess, but it is a complete thing. One of the things I really loved that Jess talked about was Tuovi's personality. She says, also moments to seeing Tuovi is this truly deadly but righteous personality. She's this enigma of being both on the right side of justice and yet still in this murdery gray area. And I really like that about her, which is very sweet and what I was going for. There was so many wonderful things about Jess's feedback that I adored, and basically she played such a wonderful role in confirming that there are some great things in here. It is a bit stressy messy at the end, as she said, which is the perfect way to describe it. In fact, in my own reread notes, I stopped writing any notes from the last 3 chapters on the reread because I was like, this is just, it is indeed stressy messy. So it's gonna be really interesting because taking her bigger feedback, especially about some of the characters and some of interweaving more of the plot lines, which I really needed. I attempted to do it this draft, but I think both of us knew that I did not, you know, fully succeed. Jess called it good bones, which is a nice way of saying it. It is the most positive I've felt about this story so far. It's one of those things that I add words as I move each draft. I think the character of the prince, I actually did a pretty good job this time. The character of the armor, with the exception of a couple minor things, lands pretty well, and Twilby's relationship with both of those people is really good. So there's a lot of really solid things, but it makes me even more excited for this next draft because I feel like I have so many places to like improve upon, but it also doesn't feel like I'm starting from zero. Does that make sense? Which is what I've felt in almost all the other drafts. I do have some world building bits, I mentioned this in the vlog, that I need to put earlier on in the story so that when I allude to them later, it doesn't seem like it's out of nowhere. I think this will also just beef up the world as a whole, which would be really nice. I do that really well in some parts and not as well in others, but I am so excited. So if I were to grade this draft, ooh, is that something I should do? Is that something I can do? I'm gonna do it anyways. If I were to grade this draft, it feels like a solid 60%. And I'm not saying like a A to D, but I mean like of a 0 to 100, I think this is a 60. You know, there's like for sure so many improvement points, but it's not like a complete drop off, fail confusion that it was before when it was like at a 25-40%. It's kind of like a lot of these things I did pretty well, but I could do wonderfully in the next draft. So besides the stressy messy end and Twilby's relationship with her best friend, and a smattering of other things that I would give myself like a 20 for, the rest of them pretty solid. I'm gonna give myself a 60 for this in the hopes that this next draft I'll be able to take it up to like an 80, an 85 maybe. You know, that's the, I feel like that's the fun part, is that you sort of start ramping up in a way that's like this, where it's just you're getting so much better, you're improving all of the little things and the big things. So now that I've fully figured out really what story I'm trying to tell and I'm not having to like remove the importance of this character. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for journeying along with me in this forgotten vlog. And I'm excited to take you along the journey as I start Project Death over again. I'm pumped. But please do comment down below. Let me know if you could grade your current draft, what you would give it. Or how would you grade it? You might not use the same system as me. I would be very curious. Do you think it's a bad idea? Also valid. Would love to hear about that. Also let me know what you find yourself constantly adding to each time. Like you kind of, I'm constantly adding words, I'm constantly adding more world building. These are just things I've accepted about my process. So I don't always have stories where I have to completely extract the importance of a character because I effed up. But I do always have to add more world building, add more words. So yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm curious about for you. What's your like kind of consistent thing where you're like, I've just accepted this about myself that I will need to do this thing. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you all very soon with a new video. Bye.